I want to speedrun Kingdom Hearts. Final mix. Standard. Any percent. On PS4. It's pretty funny how granular the speedrun categories can get. It's, personally I find it funny that it's not a simple case of doing a Kingdom Hearts speedrun anymore. It's Kingdom Hearts speedrun, standard, any percent, PS4, all worlds, Jiminy, journal, complete, 100%. Either way, going back to my first streaming video, my original goal for starting streaming was to hold a charity stream in the future for a complete Kingdom Hearts mainline marathon, and I've actually have more ideas for it, but I'll get to that at a later video. And I finally started taking that first step by learning on how to speedrun the first Kingdom Hearts game. Well, the final mixed version, not the PS2 version. To start speedrunning, there's a little bit of setup that I needed to do first, mainly being able to get my PS4's output into Streamlabs, as well as figuring out how those speedrun timers work. This wasn't my first time streaming a PS4 game though. I did an entire Neo The World Ends With You full playthrough. It ended up, I think, being, it was a Platinum Trophy playthrough. I did it using the PlayStation's Remote Play feature, which you can use on computers, and it actually worked very well. Input delay for Remote Play is surprisingly minimal, though image quality, it left a bit to be desired. Remote Play can only go up to 720p, and also frame rates were pretty low. I think it was like 30 frames per second or something like that. The biggest problem though, aside from those other things, that was the reliability. My home's internet connection is fine, like it's alright, but it is all wireless. I haven't had any problems with videos and I rarely drop out during streams. However, it wasn't uncommon that Remote Play would occasionally disconnect or something would go wrong during streams. And that can be fine for a casual playthrough where only the occasional battle requires no drops and battles are only like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, except for some terrible boss fights. But for a multi-hour speedrun where every second counts, well, imagining getting to a late game boss fight, being 10 minutes into it, and then losing connection and dying in the middle of it, that was a stomach-turning enough thought that I started looking for a solution. Thankfully, most of these sorts of issues can be solved with money, and I knew what kind of equipment I needed. A capture card with pass-through. A capture card is exactly what it sounds like. You plug something into the capture card, load up the designated program, and voila! Whatever you've plugged in should now be appearing on that program. There are capture cards that work in like a single input, then you can use the capture technology to view whatever you're playing. The problem with that, so I read, was that there appears to be input lag when you do that directly. The delays aren't long, and in fact, skipping forward a little bit, when I bought my capture card, I played Pokemon using that output that it gives, and it wasn't bad, but Pokemon's not really a high-intensity game. However, a speedrun is a little bit more important, and timing and precision is key, so I have to minimize those delays as much as possible. So that's where pass-through comes in. Pass-through means that while capturing your input, the capture card also provides an output that you can use to plug directly into your screen, without having to go via, well, technically it goes via the capture card, but not using the capture card technology. The next question is whether I'd be getting an internal capture card versus an external capture card. So capture cards can be either attached directly to your motherboard, which generally results in less lag in the capture, or via a USB. I was looking at internal options at first because, less lag the better, but unfortunately, after installing an internal wireless card, I discovered that my computer, which I built about 7 years ago at this point, it didn't really have enough motherboard ports for it, so I had to go with an external one. So some browsing and comparisons later, I ended up getting the Elgato HD60X. The Elgato brand is pretty well regarded, especially in the streaming space, so I trusted its quality. And so far it hasn't let me down. As I said, I purchased it in time for a couple of streams of Pokemon Scarlet that I did before the end of last year, so it's been quite a while, but I knew I was going to use it a whole lot in the future. It works with USB and it's got video pass-through, so it fit my criteria. Next was the speedrun timer, and I actually did this completely live on stream, my very first stream on Kingdom Hearts. To sum it up, after doing a bunch of Googling, I downloaded a program called LiveSplit. This can grab splits directly from speedrun.com, so I grabbed the first one available, who I think was the third place for the Kingdom Hearts Final Mix Beginners Run. Splits, if you don't know what those are, that's essentially like notable points during a speed run. So to hit splits, you say it's like, let's take Kingdom Hearts for example, beating the first boss might be a split, getting off a certain world will be another split, etc, etc, etc. So grabbing the third place's splits may not have been a great idea because they were fairly customized. I think it contained some in-jokes unique to this streamer. There was a split that I had no idea what it was called pauses, like poggers, but pauses, and I didn't see it until I was in the playthrough and I had no idea what it was referring to. I also realized that the hotkeys that I set for the live split, they clashed with the hotkeys that I set for my VTuber model. So I had to turn my VTuber model's emotions off, or otherwise whenever I started a new split, my slime would frown and cry, and it was bad. So I've turned them off. I still haven't turned them back on, actually. So then I decided to start. So much like animating, like drawing, wedding planning, everything else, I decided to jump into it completely blind. Jump in and find my baseline time. So over the next 2 streams, I finished a Kingdom Hearts Final Mix standard mode run as fast as I could. Thing is, I say it was blind, but it wasn't 100% blind because I have seen Kingdom Hearts speedruns in the past, like things like Games Done Quick and stuff like that. Though I've never studied them and looked at them in detail. And I thought that I knew one thing with Kingdom Hearts Run speedruns, that speedruns use magic and summons a lot. This was extraordinarily wrong, especially for the standard version of difficulty. This is what you do for Proud Mode and Level 1 runs, which are also down on Proud Mode. So the hardest difficulty in Kingdom Hearts, that's when you use all the magic and the summons. So this meant that I was actually using a fair bit weaker. Sorry, I was actually a fair bit weaker. And I was using magic a lot more than probably I should have, and using summons I should have, and trying strats that had no chance of working in standard mode. Like, for instance, for those who know, using Mushu as a summon on the boss Chernobog. In the end, I finished Kingdom Hearts 1 in around 7.5 hours. I was expecting a screen at the end of the credits giving me stats for the playthrough, but I didn't get one. It ends up that's only in Kingdom Hearts 2. But thankfully, I had a viewer that was keeping me company, and as per tradition, I played a song during the ending credits of the game after beating it. Then I started to watch some tutorials. Or should I say, I watched the tutorial by Violin SR. He's a multiple world record holder in multiple Kingdom Hearts speedrun categories, and he has done an amazing set of tutorials for Kingdom Hearts speedrunning in general, but Proud Mode, Standard Mode, Beginner Mode, etc. So I went for the standard any percent because that's what I inadvertently ended up doing when finding my baseline. It wasn't planned, I just thought, if I'm going to find a baseline time, I might as well do it on Standard Mode instead of Beginner or Proud, because I knew Proud would probably take me way too long. So I watched through and I started to Google Slides where I would do slides for each world. Sometimes I had to split worlds in 2 if there was a lot to do. And then with those notes that were very incomplete, I only got up to writing them to Agrabah. I tried another run and I died a lot. It was a big struggle. The Clayton boss fight in Tarzan, all of the Agrabah fights. In the end, after 3 and a bit hours, I didn't end up finishing the run. I managed to do some easy tricks, like some super simple skips like the one in Wonderland, and I failed horribly to do some other ones, like everything involving Halloween Town. And because I was missing notes, I also missed a lot of other stuff. Oh, and there was another thing that I did. There's a little glitch that you can do, but after I did the glitch, I didn't actually finish the glitch properly, so I ended up having to redo some stuff anyway. And so in the end, I only got up to the Ansem Riku fight in Holy Bastion. I died, and then I was like, alright, I can't keep streaming, I'm going to call it there. So I watched the tutorial some more, I wrote some more notes, and then I got the notes up to early Holy Bastion, and then the following week I tried one more time. Now there were some massive time improvements versus my first time, because I actually had splits when compared to my original attempt. So I ended up finishing the run in just over 4 hours and 15 minutes. It was extremely sloppy, barely any strategy with some bosses. I was trying to replicate them, but without practice, can't pull it off. I ended up relying on menu notes, which Violin SR thankfully provided, though I couldn't actually fulfill these menu notes because some of the items that he grabs I hadn't grabbed, because where to get those items weren't in the notes. It was only, hey, when you're in this area, do this on the menus. So the following week, I only had time for a short stream, so I practiced Agrabah, and I didn't get noticeably better. I got a bit better on the Jafar fight, but on the pot centipede fight, oh boy, that did not get better at all. Then in my most recent run, which I did the day previous to me recording the script, it started off promising because I'd already improved massively in my previous run. There was only some small time improvements here and there, like, because I don't know the green and golden splits, but there were some small ones. And then there were some other time losses in other places that I hadn't failed the first time around. And then I absolutely dropped the ball and destroyed my run, and I stopped at the final rest once it became clear that I wasn't going to beat my previous time. That previous time, though, the 4 hour, 15 minute time, I forgot to say, I couldn't submit it, though, unfortunately. I couldn't submit it to the scoreboards, or to the leaderboards. But in the category, I think I would have been 14th or 13th, albeit there's only like 15 people on that leaderboard, because I had to pause to go to the bathroom. So next time I just won't pause. But yeah, so I got pretty tilted getting stopped at the final rest. I think I died like 5 times, and I was like, nah, I'm done for the night. And yeah, it brings me to today. I haven't obviously streamed, but I do need to practice more, a lot more. And there's some basic stuff, like there's some techniques with fast aerial combos that I just can't do yet. Like I said, Violin SR has some great tutorials for all of this stuff. I would highly recommend checking them out if you're interested at all in Kingdom Hearts speedrunning. But I do need to practice it. But next week, I'm hoping to do a couple of extra streams, focusing on practice, and then maybe in 2 weeks' time, or maybe I'll try another one next week, I'm going to try and get below 4 hours. The other thing I have to note, I think Square Enix is very protective about Kingdom Hearts, because I kept getting portions of my stream muted because of the background music. And you think game audio is safe for streaming and for videos? Nah, not Kingdom Hearts. I've tried turning down the volume for subsequent runs, and the more I turn it down, the less I get striked, but I haven't found the good balance just yet. But yeah, I need to definitely do more practice. I think the issue is that I only stream Kingdom Hearts on Thursdays, and I just need to practice more often, maybe even off stream. Thing is, with piano, you can't just practice once a week and expect to get better faster. You have to play a few times a week if you want to see good improvement. So I'll definitely be doing it more. So if you want to watch me play Kingdom Hearts, watch me do the speedrun, watch me break the world record. No, I'm not. The world record for my category on PS4 is like 2.5 hours. I am an hour and 45 minutes slower than that. But if you want to watch me, I'm going to try and get to 3 hours-ish. Come watch me at twitch.tv/blobbertmcnugget. And hey, this is my first time ever speedrunning a game, and it's actually really fun and surprisingly easy. Like, without doing any practice, I managed to bring a 7.5 hour time down to 4 hours and 15 minutes. So you should try speedrunning it. And hey, let me know in the comments down below, what game would you be interested in speedrunning? Or let me know your speedrunning experiences. I hope you join me, because it's not I attempt new things, it's we attempt new things. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a fruitful day.